This is what really went wrong with the MCU. Alright, now before y'all got me apologizing again, this isn't a video to hate on the MCU. I personally love the MCU and what they've done for the comic book movie genre and stories they've been able to give us. This is more so constructive criticism and where they may have lost themselves as they decided to continue the story after Endgame. And I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. I honestly think that my opinion that I have on this hasn't necessarily been said. I know people allude to it, but I've seen it all over the place on what the problem was for Phase 4. And I think people just don't really understand the true problem. And I personally think that the real problem is their audience got so big that they forgot who their target audience was. It feels like they're making movies for the newer fans rather than making movies for the ones that are always gonna stick around. And they have a lot of people coming into the scene that don't necessarily understand the characters, don't necessarily care for the comics, but are just coming in to make movies that they feel would be a good movie. And in return, it's hurting that comic book side of the movie. And backing up what I'm saying, there is an article why Marvel Studios avoids hiring writers who love Marvel comics. Now, Nate Moore, again, I have no beef with Nate Moore. I actually love Nate Moore. He's done so much for not only the MCU, but black characters in the MCU. So we have to give him his credit. He goes on to say, for me, one thing I think is interesting about Marvel's process, and specifically for writers, I would say a lot of times we're pitched writers who love Marvel. And to me, that's always a red flag, because I go, oh, I don't want you to already have a pre-existing idea of what it is because you grew up with issue 15 and that's what you want to recreate. I want somebody who's hard on the material, who goes, what is this? I think there's a movie here, but maybe we should be looking at it in this way. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. It helps keeps things fresh. It helps keep things original, unique. And I personally believe it's a green flag. I think you would want people who love Marvel, who love comic books, to write for Marvel because it allows them to give us something where they actually understand the source material and understand what the comic book fans want. That's one of the reasons why someone like James Gunn excelled with his trilogy for the Guardians of the Galaxy. And all this ties into what I'm saying, as they are making movies for the newer viewers and not the people that are always going to stick around, because no matter what, they're gonna go see the movie. So they might as well make something that the newer viewers that don't necessarily follow Marvel are gonna be like, hey, I wanna go see this. And they're just trying to attract even more viewers than they have already. Now, that's a great business move, but I also think a great business move was how they handled the MCU from 2008 to 2018. I think you just focus on your target audience, your product, and all those newer viewers are gonna have to follow in because it's just gonna be so much hype around it. And to go deeper into some of these things, I would have to say it has become a little bit of a fan service over story. I would say even No Way Home lacked in story, even though it was a major hit and I obviously still loved it. Then we can also look at Thor Love and Thunder, the actor they brought in for Gore, Christian Bale. We could look at Multiverse of Madness. They brought in the X-Men, the Illuminati. And behind all that, it may not be the greatest story. Like, even for some of their better films, the story may not be as great. With that being said, though, I do feel like people are way too harsh on Marvel now. I feel like they've come out with some decent projects, some great projects in the past 2 years. And I don't think Phase 4 was this disaster, oh my gosh, the worst thing ever type thing that people were portraying it as. But it definitely was lackluster. But hey, Marvel has some great things on the way. Across the Spider-Verse just dropped and they're making a comeback. They're doing their thing again. If you guys liked the video, don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll be seeing you.